Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. Thank you, colleagues, classmates, and friends for having me. It's an honor for me to be here. Pardon any mistakes I might make. I don't really work very well with Zoom. I don't know why, but that's it. So about myself, I am of the OAU class of 2005, which is in another couple of months, going to be 17 years. Hi, God. Anyway, after my time in OAU, I had a forced gap year. Then I went to University of Benin Teaching Hospital and did my internship. Went to Borno State when it was still good to do my NYSC. In fact, my set was the last set before the Boko Haram menace started. From there, I had a stint in private clinical practice. I enjoyed it. Thereafter, I was in the health insurance sector for quite a few years. And since then, I have been full-time in entertainment. What sort of entertainment? I am a ventriloquist and puppeteer. Those days, I used to have to explain to people what a ventriloquist was. Now, but it's far less because a lot of people now see it. Ventriloquism is the art of making an inanimate object speak while you don't move your lips. Then I also do puppetry, and I do a bit of stand-up comedy hosting as well. Where I started performing for the first time, I actually started performing informally. It wasn't performing. The first time I used my skills was about 2010. I was working in Lagos. A lot of us in private practice work two jobs. So I had a night gig in a children's hospital. I was working with a pediatrician in Lekki. So I had a few little hand puppets that I used to use with the children to make them feel comfortable in the consulting room. When they see that, especially the younger children who are scared of needles, I would humor them and they would open up a little bit. Then I did it for a few of my friends, just bring out all the puppets and just go, instead of using baby talk, just go speak pidgin, go crazy. And they found it hilarious. And at the same time, I was also learning public speaking, doing MCing, and satirization and humor. There was this open mic that a few of my friends and I started in Ikoyi back in the day, late 2000s. It's a place, if you are into that kind of scene, I believe we still do stuff called the Bokobiri. So it was for young professionals who wanted to explore their creative side. So you have bankers, engineers, architects, all sorts of people. They come, would hang out in the evening. You'd have, among those set of people, you'd have poets, you'd have writers, you'd have people who just come and talk, singers especially. You know, we saw a lot of guys with hidden talents who were not doing it necessarily to catch a break, just doing it for fun. So that place served as my training ground where I would work with my comedy material and just entertain people there, which is good because a lot of comedians in Nigeria have it. There are two ways to break into the comedy industry. One is the nightclub scene, where you go and anything goes. If you're not funny, they'll steal you pure water. They'll kick you out. It's very rough. And then two is the church scene. So I had another avenue, luckily for me, which was able to help me while I combined with work and all that. So around a few years ago, I was at a crossroads. I was doing very well from comedy, and I was also getting promoted at work, but there were times when I had to sacrifice one for the other. I remember I had like 3 offers in a year to do a tour of East and West Africa, and then do a tour of the UK, go with some other comedians. I had to turn it down because I was working, so I made that decision then that, no, let me just try this. It has been interesting. There have been challenges, ups and downs, but here I am today. And that's me in a nutshell. I hope my microphone is not on mute and I've been speaking and people have been understanding me.
Yes, boss. We can hear you clearly.
We can hear you.
Okay, all right. So should I keep talking? Is there anybody next?
No, you just introduced Dr. Okunola.
Okay, yeah, sorry, my co-host is Dr. Dele Okunola, the man who's, if you look at the flyer, just above me with all those amazing qualifications. So he's going to take over.
Good evening, guys. I'm Ayodele Okunola, and I finished from medical school the same year that Bariu did, 2005, and a lot of my colleagues here on this OAU Med Talk. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to talk today. And I first and foremost want to say kudos to the guys that organized this show or this talk. Tayo, Halaba, Ega, you guys are doing a great job, and I really appreciate what you guys are doing, giving back to our young colleagues still in school. So I want to say thank you to you guys. Also, I want to congratulate the graduating students of OAU Medical School for 2022 or 2023. I don't know when you guys are finishing, but I must congratulate you for coming into this fold of medical doctors. And I will tell you that it is a pride that you are going to carry all through your life. Anywhere you get to in life, and it doesn't matter where, anywhere in the world, you tell people that you are a physician, they're gonna look at you twice. Honestly, it's gonna create opportunities for you sometimes. It just puts you at a slight edge above others. And so you should not take that privilege lightly. Number two, I want to congratulate you guys for graduating from OAU. Like many of my colleagues have already told you, you are graduating from one of the best schools in the world. And you are going to be standing toe-to-toe, head-to-head with graduates from Harvard, graduates from Stanford, graduates from all those schools that you think you don't match. And you're gonna see that you can actually match them and even outdo what they're doing. So do not take your training for granted. You guys have been endowed with some of the best education in the world. And anywhere you go, you have been very well trained. And I can tell you that you're gonna excel in whatever you do. So congratulations. Now we're gonna be talking about the power of connection. And it is a very important thing as you go through life for all of us, and especially for you younger colleagues that will be graduating from school. When you leave school, probably in a few months, you will be confused, and there is no doubt about that. And the question is, who do you look up to? Who do you call? Who can connect you? Where do you go from here? And those are the questions that you will need answers to, and you need some form of connection to move through life. There is nothing that we have that was not given to us. And so within the next 30 minutes or maybe 20 minutes or so, I will be talking about, my story and how I got to where I am currently, and where we go from here, and how does that help you guys in making decisions for your future, which is here. Like I said, I graduated from OAU in 2005, where we had a sojourn for about 9 years or so, thereabout, with all the strikes and everything that happened while we were there. We were in school for quite some time. I got in as a very young, inexperienced 16, 17-year-old thereabout. And by the time we were done, we were very mature, but confused, and we had no idea where we go from here. And I was fortunate after medical school to travel briefly to the States, to the USA, where I worked for a little bit. And again, when I told you guys that, when you say you are a physician, it raises eyebrows, let me put it that way. People are gonna look at you twice. So I came to the States and, I got a job briefly. I think it was a 1-month stint I obviously could not get a medical job, but I worked in a warehouse at that time. And then I met some Nigerians there who actually knew me. They were like, big uncles, and, you're working in a warehouse, lifting towels and all those things. And then these Nigerians who know you are a doctor would call you, hey, doc. And, I was working with a bunch of Mexicans and Caucasians, and then some of them listened to these Nigerians calling me docs, and they were like, really? Are you a doctor? And it became so hard for me to tell them that, hey, I'm a doctor. I'm still trying to find my way around this country to, start making money and things like that, or start getting into training. I mean, nobody will take you into training just like that. In fact, many of them were amazed. They were like, wow, you are a doctor, But the lead, who is such a very, I would call him a sadist, came to me one day and said, you are a doctor and you work here, you must be very broke. So I said, well, it is what it is. I'm still, but that did not prevent me from moving forward. Anyway, talking about connections, when I say connections, I really don't mean knowing the CMD of an institution. They can get you somewhere, knowing the governor, knowing the president and things like that. I'm talking about the tribe that you guys have formed amidst yourself. That connection starts from there. You guys have created a community amongst yourself, and you're gonna lift yourself up. Now, when I came to the States, a few of us came immediately after medical school, and I'll be naming names because, these are very important things in my life. And when I talk about connection, I want you guys to know that it's not just about knowing, people at the top. Knowing your classmates very well and forming good relationship while you are there in school today can help you when you get out there. I made very good friends. One thing I'm not, that maybe God has blessed me with is quality friends, and I have a bunch of them. Alaba, Bariyu, Tayo, Afo, Komo, and I'll be mentioning some of their names today, because they were part of my progress. So myself, Dr. Afolabi, Dr. Komolafe, popularly known as Komo, Dr. Faniku, Benga Faniku, all of us came together in that year, 2005. But I came back to Nigeria to come and do my house job, and I finished my housemanship in 2006. Thankfully, at that time, we didn't know. I was telling Komo and GT that time that, you guys need to go back to Nigeria and finish your housemanship. They refused. They were like, no, we're just staying in the States and moving forward. I didn't know they were staying back to help me, honestly. So by the time I went back in 2006, you know, I thought it was gonna be easy, but it wasn't easy at all. There was no place where you could get a job, just to do anything, just even, you know, being in a clinic and working and just, you know, helping some docs out. Nobody would employ you. You need some form of certification. You need to pass your exams, and that could take some time. So coming in first, I was confused. I didn't know what to do. Although I had options, I could go for masters, I could go for other things, and, you know, completely change my clinical course. But I had two options in my mind at that time. One, try to get into residency in the USA, or go back to Nigeria and do my residency. So my uncle, who has been in the States for about 30 years, linked me up with some of the UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles. We knew some professors there. And their recommendation for me at that time was to go back to medical school in America and then, you know, get trained. And so that would improve my chances of matching into a residency training program in the US. If I had to go back to med school at that point, having spent about 8-9 years in Ife, I was like, no way, I'm not doing that again. I'd rather just, you know, proceed with master's training program, master's degree, or just do something completely different. I love tech. I could just go ahead and be an engineer or something. So that was completely not an option, but it was very discouraging after, you know, so much anticipation. I was in a confused land. I didn't know what to do. So I knew Como and GT had stayed back. That's Panico. So I reached out to them. Unfortunately, at that time, I think Como was already in residency. And so it was able to load me with a bunch of information as to where to go from here, how to do my exams, how to register. Those were my first set of connection in the States. Benga Faniku sent me a bunch of books. He had already passed some of his exams at that time. This is 1 year after medical school. Benga sent me a bunch of books that when I saw those books, I was like, no way, I'm not gonna read all this. I'm just gonna go register for a master's degree program or something. But these guys kept encouraging me, you gotta do it. You know, it's no big deal. You pass through medical school, you can read, you can do this, you can. So anyway, I started doing it. Went back to work in my warehouse, and I was really struggling and, you know, trying to pay bills and, you know. So anyway, I did all my exams that year, but again, it was difficult to get into residency training program just like that, just by passing your exams. You need some additives. And I was very young out of med school. I knew there were chances for me, but it was initially tough. During the course of writing exams, there were other people that we connected together at that time. Onyida Akunai, then Lola Oluwadia, we were all there together that year, 2006, just roughing it through all the exams, and we were connecting with ourselves every weekend, doing questions and studying together. And, you know, the four of us, we just were like, you know, bandwagons that could not be stopped. We all passed the exams, and it was time for interviews. We needed letters of recommendations, and it was very difficult to get letters in those days. Then I went back to those professors and I said, you know, I've passed all my exams. I need letters of recommendation. They will not provide me letters because they believe, you know, they don't know me. And, you know, I reached out to some of our colleagues again. Amaka, you know, Amaka Okereku's husband was already done with residency, he was working. And, you know, she was able to link me up with her husband, and very nice guy, you know, told me, I'm going to get you letters. I'm going to, you know, just help you whatever way I can. And this is where, you know, some people can pave way for you in ways that they don't even know. While I was working in my warehouse, I would go out every once in a while looking for jobs, medical jobs. And I got to this hospital, and they gave me a doctor's number who was looking for a doctor that could help him out in his clinic to document stuff. You know, just, we call it scribe here. You know, you just document stuff and just do notes for him. And so I called this guy. The moment he heard my accent, he said, "Are you a Nigerian?" I said, "Yes, I'm a Nigerian." And he told me, "You got a job. When do you want to start?" No interview, no nothing. That was the interview because I'm a Nigerian. So when I met him the following day, he told me he's worked with some Nigerians in residency training, and they were the best set of people he has ever worked with. So based on that, this guy hired me into his clinic, and I was like his medical director of his small clinic in California, in Los Angeles in those days. So, and that job continued for a little while. And this guy told me he was going to write me letters of recommendations. He was going to help me. He was going to call programs for me to get into residency. And that was huge. That was really huge for me. So, and true to him, when it was time for me to get my letters, he just told me, go write your own letters. I don't, you wouldn't be going through all my resumes. And I didn't really have any resume anyway. It was just medical school and, my warehouse job and his clinic. So I didn't really have much up my sleeve. So I knew I was fresh out of medical school and I had a chance of getting into programs here. So, and I wrote that letter. The moment he told me, go write your letters for yourself, I was like, I had never failed any theory exams. I could do badly with multiple choice, but you give me something to write, I'm going to go home with it. I'm just going to write something. I cannot be stuck in a theory, just thinking. I wrote essays for my school in high school. So I was good at writing. So I wrote myself a beautiful letter, very succinct. And, and I went back to those profs. Okay, I've done this, I've done that. Can you write me letters? They still refused. So, well, I went back home. I had soldiers on the ground in Ife. I approached some of our professors then, Professor Balogun, cardiologist, a young professor, now Professor Adewuya then, who was a young consultant psychiatrist, and as well as, I believe he was Professor, one of our orthopedic professors, who wrote me letters of recommendation from Nigeria, plus the one I wrote for myself, who my MD here signed. And those three got me connected, especially the one that was signed for me here. That just opened doors for me. Everywhere, I got some interviews, and everywhere I went to, everybody kept asking me, what did you do for this doctor that I wrote you such a beautiful letter of recommendation? What did you learn in his clinic? How did he help you? How has he formed your practice, or how you're going to practice medicine in the United States? Anyway, that was a big push for me. And this guy, I connected to him through some unknown doctor, Nigerian doctor that had, put a great impression in his mind. Anyway, I got into residency training and went on to do residency. It was very easy for me. It was like a breeze for me because I had done house job in Nigeria, and I had a lot of experience up my sleeve. The house job here was probably one of the best years of my clinical practice life. I learned a lot. I did my house job in Elisha, where also Alaba, Ajibare, and a bunch of us, Sheyi, Ogundi, and we're all there, and it was amazing. During those periods, we were given free hand to do so much. And so we did so much during those days. And so when I came to this part of the world, where things are more like structured, in Elisha, then you're on orthopedic rotation or pediatric rotation. You're in the ER, like for the whole weekend, you are working. You are so busy, extremely busy. And so you come to this area where, they have this structured call. You can't be on call for more than 30 hours. And, they have very structured stuff. And so it becomes like a breeze for you. You're like, this is peanut. This is just like bread and butter. And despite the fact that some of them will still complain, I never complained. I took the job. I worked very tirelessly. I worked very hard. It was no big deal for me. That caught the attention of a lot of my professors here. It caught the attention of especially the seniors that I was working with then. They loved me so much. Many of them would invite me, We'll go have, some drinks after work. I was dining with some of my program directors in those days. I had very strong connections to them. I had very strong connections to a lot of my seniors. They knew me so well. And so when I graduated, there was this very priced hospital where I work hard currently. It was a hospital that not many people go there because they always don't have any positions to offer because most of their doctors just stay there. And I wanted that place. And I looked up at the profile of the hospital and I saw that some of my seniors then were in place. They were like, medical directors and things like that. So I reached out to some of them. I'm like, I want to get into your hospital. They were like, we don't have any openings, but we can create one for you because they love me so much. These guys, they just loved working with me during those days. So they created me a position. I interviewed with them. They hired me. They hired one of my other colleagues as well. And so for the past 11 years, I have been there. And in that hospital, I've held so many awesome positions. I've been in their medical executive committee. I've been the head of so many, other committees and things like that. And until some years ago, the leadership of the hospital came to me and told me that, we want you as a chair of medicine. I said, well, I don't want, I'm a businessman. Anything that would, take me off my business, I don't like it. I've been running away from being any chair or anything like that for a very long time. So when they said that, I talked to my wife about it. I'm like, they're offering me this position and, I don't want anything to mess up you like money too much. Go for it. This is good. And I took that position for well, maybe a couple of reasons. Number one, for the experience. And number two, to be able to connect with people, to be able to help people out. One thing a lot of people here would know that is that since I finished my residency training, all the difficulties I had in the early days, I made sure that my younger colleagues do not have those difficulties. One is knowing the right people to connect to. Two, lifting others up. Ordinary letter of recommendation was a big deal for us then. It was a real big deal for us, just getting letters, because without letters of recommendations, you cannot practice here. It is extremely important. Now I don't have any problems paying it back. I don't have any problems. It could be that, just a piece of advice that will lift somebody up, that will get somebody out of where they are. And that is exactly what you guys need at this time of, where many of you are going to be at the crossroad about where you go from here. So I took up that position to be of benefit, to bring people in. I've had a lot of my, Nigerian colleagues that I've had to interview at my hospital, just trying to get them in and hook them up. I write letters of recommendations for people every time. I, link people up to my programs all the time. And many of my colleagues will know that, or will tell you that. It's no big deal. The world is such a big place for all of us to thrive. And we just have to be that link that will get people to thrive. Anyway, I'm gonna round up in a little bit. And I will tell you just, a couple of stories. One, I have a friend who, when I was in residency, saw my name on the list of, doctors in that hospital, University of Nevada, residency training program. And he was coming in to interview with us. And he was looking at all the profile and he saw that, here's a Nigerian that is working here. Let me just reach out to him and see what the program, just have a feel of what the program is all about. So Dr. Olagunju is his name, Olu. He's my very good friend now. So he came over for his interview. I told him, come sleep in my, usually the hospital will get them a hotel and, so I told him, don't go, just come over, sleep in my house. Let me give you all the tidbits and things like that, what you need to do and how you can, just just breeze through the program and enjoy yourself here. And I cooked him beans and dodo. Anyway, so he went for his interview, and this guy was so happy about the treatment he got. Eventually, he got into my program. By virtue of what we have laid down in that program, they love to admit at least one Nigerian every year, University of Nevada. They would take one Nigerian every year because they've been so impressed by, all the Nigerians that have passed through their programs, and they love it. So they took Olu. And in fact, I would tell you that Bolan Ogunbayo, he came to interview in my program. I got him an interview that time. He came. Some of them up till today, they still ask for Bolan because they just love the vibes. They like him. I don't know why he didn't come to Nevada. He should have come to Nevada, but he went to New York instead. And quite a number of other people that, have come to my program then to interview. They usually will love them. They will pick them. They just love the way we take our work. So this guy came by, he finished residency nice. We've always been in touch. In fact, he's in Las Vegas currently where I'm at. And he was going to take a job. And I told him, Olu, don't take that job. Take this other job. And this will pay you a lot. And eventually went to this other job, which I advised him again. But then he came back. He's like, after 3 months, I think he resigned. And then he said, Dele, do you still have that link? I said, wow, yes, come over. I linked him up with this particular job. He took it up. Within 3 years, this guy paid off his school loan, paid off everything, bought a house. I look up to him now. He's like my chief. I call him my millionaire friend. He's so rich that, and he's doing so well. He's like business owner and things like that. He's made it so well for himself that I'm so proud of him. Number two, when I don't know how to hook people up, I refer them to appropriate people that will link them up, which is a very important thing. When some people will come to me for advice on, how to get into PhD programs or I'm not a PhD holder, but I know people who can do it. There's so much space within our healthcare community here, especially in the States, that I have people that I can link you up with. And if I don't know how to do it, I can always link you up to somebody who can do it. And you have healthcare professionals here in the States who are flourishing in other aspects of, healthcare. Like I have friends who are in pharmaceuticals and they are doing well. And you need to get into that space. I have people that I can link you with. We have medical doctors in electronic medical records, IT, and you need to get into that space, we can link you up. You have people in academic medicine and you want to get into that space, we have people that can link you up. And, typically we just have people, we have resources. And again, guys, why are we here today? We are here because of connection. We're trying to connect ourselves to you. We have been through it all. We have seen life. We have conquered in a lot of ways. And we have colleagues that have been successful in different areas. And we're trying to tell you that, or rather we are opening ourselves up to you that, hey, we have been there and we can hook you up, we can help you, we can lift you up. All you may need is that email or that communication or something like that that will get you up there. I have linked many young professionals to Dr. Lola Ijamakinwa, Akin Foshe, and these guys honestly may not have much to offer in terms of, maybe calling medical schools or calling programs for them. It could just be that word of advice. I know somebody went to interview in Lola Hijam's school one time where she finished her residency. And I had a friend who had an interview in that same school and was trying to figure out how to go about it. I hooked him up with Lola. I hooked her up with Lola. And Lola was so gracious, so helpful. And, Lola, she would just go home and tell her, what to do and what not to do and how to, behave, how to approach things. And that girl got into that program and she's eternally grateful to me today for what was done. So guys, reach out. communicate, create that link, and maintain that link. I think I've over talked this evening. I think it's about time for me to end so you guys can ask questions. But I just want you to know that the reason we're here today is so we can connect to you. That was the reason why this OAU Med Talk was created. So you guys can connect. You guys don't make the mistakes that we made. You guys don't have to go through similar hardship that we have been through. You guys can actually have an easy sail wherever you are, be it in Nigeria, be it in the UK, be it in America, be it anywhere in the world. But one thing I want you guys to know is, as physicians, as medical doctors, you have already earned something that will put you well ahead of others. Look, my friends that are doing IT, or that are in pharmaceuticals, or that are in public health space, once they know you are a physician, even Barry, once they know you are a doctor doing comedy, people look at you twice. You know, they look at you twice. They're like, wow, how do you do it? You know, what? So people look at you twice. No matter what space you find yourself, people are gonna look at you twice. They're gonna pay attention to you. And so as you graduate from your class, just know that you're finishing up from a very good position. You are finishing up from a space where you can actually do whatever you want to do. And when you get to that point that you are like in a crossroad, just know that you have people that you can reach out to. And we are here to help you guys out. We're here to get you connected and you know, get you to a space in life. And we want you, once you get there, please give back. Do not hold back. This world is too big for us all not to make it. You know, we can all get there. Give back when you get there. Thank you very much, guys. Time for questions.
Thank you very much, Dele. Over to you, Dr. Barry.
Sorry.
And I think somebody's got a question. There's a raised hand somewhere.
Afolabi Okunwaki has been raising his hand since. I'm sure the question is for Dele.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Afo.
My name is Afolabi Onwaki. And I have questions for the two of you, both Dele and Barry. Dele, I need a hookup too. It seems your line of duty now is just to be doing hookup up and down. So I won't mind you hooking me up. But then, to my question to Dele, a couple of years back, you came back to Nigeria for, I think, tropical attachment or something like that.
Yes.
At Lawsuits, if I could, yeah. Then the CMD of Lawsuits threw something at you, which I think up till now you've not responded to. So my question is, when are you coming around? Even if it's just for 3 months. I believe you can. Yeah, I believe just giving back, like you said, is not only for the system where you are right now. Remember you telling me then that HOs then were carrying lab results up and down. They just don't know what they were carrying with them because nobody was putting them through. So my question to you is, when are you going to come around, even if it's just for 3 months? Then to Barry, 2012, you were on Niger Got Talent. I think it was 2012. Either 2012 or 2013. Yeah, 10 years ago. So question is, how did that experience shape you? Thank you.
Afu. Yes, I was in LASUF, LASUCOM. I think that was my final year of residency. I came for a tropical medicine attachment that my university here paid for. And I had a great time at LASUF. And the CMD did approach me that when I was done, I should, you know, come I should reach out back to him, and he would employ me in the Lagos State system to, honestly, I will come back, but I'm still looking at logistics, trying to build a business and things like that. Maybe not build an empire, but build a business here. Maybe once I am okay enough, I will come back. Number two, I think there was a time I was actually planning to do something in Nigeria with a few of our colleagues in partnership with Akim and Muyiwa. I think Alaba was in the team. And that project is on hold currently, but we're going to come back into the system and do something. I think it was on hold due to some legal technicalities and things like that. So, but at some point we will come back into the system and put something back within the system. I'm still working very closely with Dr. Badmus Akim, and maybe not within the government bureaucratic system, maybe outside of that. But I know some hospitals are doing great things in Nigeria currently, and we will be part of that at some point. We're looking into that. I hope that answers the questions, Afo.
Yeah, partially you answered my question, but subsequently I will be asking you, when are you going to come around, particularly to that last one.
Off your mind.
Even if it's just for 3 months.
People like you that make them shout honorable, show off his mic. Well, yeah. 2012 was when I went to Nigeria's Got Talent. I made it to the finals. I was in top 7 or top 5. It was a very interesting experience for me. First thing it did was give me validation, because at the point in time, you always have your doubts that, oh, look at this thing I'm doing. Am I not making a fool of myself soon? And it's something that hadn't been done, especially by our profession, which is known for conservatism, amongst other things. So I got to a nationwide platform. The video went viral. I wasn't sure how it would be received. I wasn't sure if I would do well. And I did well. At least people liked it. And it made me feel that, okay, so it is something that I can build on. It is something that is work. When you do something that gives you that sense of, that helps with your sense of fulfillment and your self-worth, and validation that you were not wasting your time or your life after all pursuing that thing. That's one thing that it did. 2, made me popular. It was one of the first viral videos way back then. And I would, even till today, I have some people forwarding it to me that, oh, I just saw this. Or I have a friend who has a friend who saw your video in this country or that country. I'm still surprised that people still share it. And funny enough, I got a lot of engagement from that. I was able to go to other events, even though Nigeria's Got Talent in itself wasn't, if you didn't win, you didn't really make any money, but it opened a lot of doors for me. I got events, I got to talk with brands and enter a few ventures. So that was very good. And I have someone who maybe can talk a little bit more about my experience in Nigeria's Got Talent. Big dog. I don't, Yes. This was a dog. He and I were Nigeria's Got Talent together, and I helped him. I say I helped you. You did, Chris. You helped me? Yes. Or did I need help you? No, now. Didn't I give you the chance to become famous? Come on. Now need help this guy. If not, if they suffer for one private hospital as medical officer. Yes. Anyway, I'm very happy that Nigeria's Got Talent. Wait. What? Come on. Not true, say you the doctor. Yes, now I'm a doctor. I'm talking to all my colleagues here. Wait, real doctor? Yeah. Why do you think they call me Dr. Barry? I think say you the doctor. I'm a real doctor. These are my classmates, some of my juniors, medical students. Hey, yes. I finished in 2005 from the great OAU. What? Now, doctor, they do college. Yes, now. Find another job. Then stop. So that's my answer to your question. Doctors, I greet you. Okay, Doc, can you step back out?
We greet you too. There's another question in the forum, guys. I'm not sure who that's towards. I think it's from Peter Aladeyelu. Says, thank you for the talk, sir. You said 2 of your colleagues left medical school without doing their house job here. How did they make up for that?
Well, honestly, I don't know if it's just 2. Maybe so many people left that I don't even know about. I know a lot of our colleagues are everywhere, but you know, for the US, for the ones that I know early in my career after medical school, I know Como left, and Como was probably one of the first guys who got into training way before any of us even started thinking about doing residency, because well, number one, they must have made up their minds that they were going for good, because my thinking then was, I'm gonna, you know, go through my housemanship and then do my service just in case I come back to Nigeria to do stuff. So, you know, especially being politics, because I know a lot of my friends are politicians. Demilade, Ajibare, just to name a few. These guys have been in the, you know, in the politics realm of medicine. In fact, by now I was thinking some of them would be like ministers for health or commissioners and things like that. And I was thinking they will call me back so that I can come and, you know, be part of the system. So based on that, I was thinking ahead. You know, you have to have dreams. So I was dreaming that I would finish my my service before leaving Nigeria. But maybe fortunately or unfortunately, after doing all my exams, I went back home to do my, I actually finished my house job, came back here, did my exams, and I was going back to do my service year. I was actually in Kaduna when I was called back to come and start residency at the University of Nevada. So I had to choose, you know, between the residency training and completing my my service year. I chose the residency training because, you know, I think it was just an easy decision for me at that point. But I started my 1 month of service before leaving. But for GT and Como, I knew they were very sure that they weren't coming back to Nigeria into the, you know, so-called political system to do anything. But the truth is they can still come back, honestly. They can come back and practice. You know, you have all these Oyinbos coming to Nigeria to do stuff. There is a special type of license that you can take as, you know, a visiting consultant or something. So that would be an easy decision to make, honestly, if, especially within the space of Nigerian training system, it was difficult to get into training. Not that it's not difficult in this part of the world as well. But Nigeria, I think it's a lot more difficult at that time to get into training program. And if you really want to train and, you know, the programs and you're still very early, it is a lot easier to get into training programs in the US and the UK earlier in your career than, you know, 10 years down the line when it becomes in fact, I would say 5 years down the line. After 5 years, it becomes a lot more difficult to get into training. By then, you need all the connections you want. You need maybe research. You know, you need to start adding stuff to your resume But if you're doing it immediately after medical school, honestly, you don't need anything. All you need is your medical degree, and you can easily get into training at that point. So it was an easy decision for them to make.
Thank you. There was also a hand up in the forum earlier on. I'm not sure who that was. Sorry, it took a bit of a time to get to you. Please feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question now.
Man, while we are waiting for the person to unmute and ask, I must say this Dele's talk of Dele has really carried everything, because the talk of connections and all that has served to inspire me. If anything else, I want to go back to the old days, even before our time. Before you needed anything, you probably would have to travel from maybe Elisha to Makurdi or the East to see one professor somewhere to get a letter to take to somebody. I would advise the younger ones to make the most of all the opportunities you have available, because there was no internet, there were no cell phones. So to meet, your father would send you to one professor to get a favor. Then you would have to travel for days to go and sit down in someone's house or go to somebody's office every day. The landscape has changed. And I would advise those, even outside of medical school, even those who have graduated, to make the most of whatever opportunities they have. And I must say that if I had any regrets, is that I wasn't keyed into my classmates as much as I should have been. I don't know if I'm going to explain that very well. In terms of not necessarily what you can gain from them. The closer you are to your classmates, the more they share your experiences and the more they can appreciate, because your classmates actually know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
They know the real you. No matter who you are in society today, there is a limit of how much you are a big man and you can shoot it. How much big man is it? You can shoot your colleagues, whether you're a minister or a senator or CMD or whatever. Your colleagues there will be somebody who will put you in your place and say, well, I remember when we were drinking Gary and eating beans in Awu. You can't come here and be doing that, which is why another reason why I admire people like Alaba and Shay, because who marry from within themselves, because those ones really know who you were from day one. It's much harder when you go outside, you meet someone. Okay, somebody's asking for public health, a link in public health. Can the person ask the question, or it's okay as they've written it? Yeah. Dele, maybe you answer that one.
What's the question? I'm sorry.
About the link in public health.
It says, please, can we get, hold on. The first question is, does having a master's degree, say MPH, improve one's chances of getting married after step 2? And then there's a follow-on question that says, can we get links for doctors in public health? Who do I link up to in getting pathways to public health?
Yeah, let me quickly answer that. Look, guys, anything you do right now will hard. Anything you do, let me say, in the healthcare space, will hard to getting into residency. And I keep telling everyone that approaches me that sometimes I have people who are done, some residency in Nigeria, and they want to come in, and somebody has told them that, your residency in Nigeria doesn't matter in the United States. It does matter. Everything you have done matters. You've done some masters, you've done something. Look, there's something called packaging. You just need to package yourself very well. And talk to some of our colleagues that are here. They will tell you a lot about packaging. Look, the only US clinical experience I had before my residency training was in that physician's office where I was doing scribe. I didn't even know it was called scribe at that time. I was only following him from room to room, documenting his stuff, just typing out for him, creating a note for him. And the way I embellished that in my letter, you will think that I am the one that owned that clinic. You know, I mean, I went ahead and did everything to embellish that position like it was no man's business. So whatever you have done, honestly, and of course, when they asked me if I had US clinical experience, I would not say no. I was, you know, I wasn't touching patients, but I had some contact with patients. So I had my US clinical experience. It's just the way you package yourself. Look, you've done masters, package it very well, and it matters wherever you go. You have done some form of residency. Listen, some form, not even complete residency. You have to embellish it and make it, you know, just package yourself very well, and you will get to where you're going. So whatever you have done that has some degree of relevance to where you're going matters a lot in your CV. And for doctors in public health, doctors in public health, you know, guys will have to talk to Tayo Adebayo, Tayo TY, the social prefect of our group. You have to talk to Muyiwa Tegbe. You have to talk to, you know, there's a lot of our colleagues that know a lot about public health, which I don't know. And there's so much about public health. It's so wide that you can choose the area of specialty that you want to go into in public health. And they can advise you on which, you know, what your interest might be, and they can guide you.
Thank you very much, guys. Everybody who schooled with Dele would know Dele is king of packaging. We had a statement then, and while this is not strictly a prescription, guys, it's if you're going to move pause, move it with confidence.
Yeah, it's true. I used to move. You know, you can. That's one of the reasons I find it difficult to teach here. You know, because you have to know this stuff. You know, sometimes when I was in school, they will ask you a question, and if you don't know, there are some professors that will the way they will treat you on rounds. You know, you will have to like go out of their rounds, and sometimes you don't know. And I don't want to be caught in that you don't know thing. So you have to make something up. For me, if that professor is not really sharp enough, or that, you know, especially some of the residents, they were not really sharp enough, I will go scot-free. And they will come back the following day and say, Okunola, what you said, that was a purulent stuff you moved yesterday. You didn't catch it then, at least, you know. But
it's too late now.
It's too late. I have moved.
Where is Olamide Borisha? The most confident man I ever met.
But packaging is good. Packaging will help you in life. It will help. You know, that period. Every one of us here will tell you that packaging is very, very important.
Thank you. Is there anything else to add, Barry, before we start?
Oh, well, before we start what?
To round up.
Barry, you get shoe.
No, it's not that. Actually, I went to interview. I went to click somebody who has a slight problem with his health. So maybe he can just come and talk about it a little bit. Baba, how are you? Oh. So I want to introduce you to my classmates. Maybe you have a word of advice or you want to say something to them. Can you go ahead? I want to ease myself. What? No, in front of my classmates. That is rude, and it is also disrespectful. And Notificator. What? I've done it on my body. Yes. No, Baba. That's unacceptable. We have to take you to a specialist to look at your prostate and stuff. Yes, we'll take you to see a urologist. A what? A urologist. What do they do? Well, he will do some tests after examining you. Examining? Yes. He will do maybe a rectal exam or something. What's that? A rectal exam is when you... No. Yes, now it's a medical intervention. It's an abomination. I don't agree. But how will we take care of your prostate? Let me die rather than let him do that to me. No. It's very necessary. We have to make sure that you don't embarrass yourself in public. Please, no man should put his hand inside my. Okay, Baba, that's enough. So, no words of advice. Get your TDC, and that's Baba. Man, I would like to say that, guys, it's really good to connect. I honestly didn't have anything prepared to say. I just wanted to connect with you guys. I think Jimmy has handled the whole stuff and medical connection part of it. But on a personal experience, what I can say is those who know you will appreciate, those who know you will, like, you will feel the value of them in certain times. Apolabi asked about Nigeria's Got Talent. You see, when I was in school, I didn't want to bring out anything related to entertainment as part of my character because, number one, I was afraid I was going to fail. And my word of advice for any medical student, young doctor, whatever, if you have any talent in you, bring it out. Don't be scared. One thing I was always afraid of. Anyway, another thing is Ife is a school that has a reputation for being a book school. You just read, or you belong to one camp. Either you are a pastor, want to be pastor, or you are an imam, want to be imam. If you are not in either of those, you are a bad boy, so to speak. And so I didn't want to stand out in any way. Oh, that guy is doing some comedy somewhere, and someone will hold a grudge. That was the impression I had. It was very wrong. The truth is, all you have to do is just know your stuff, answer the question they ask you, and get it right. Nobody really cares whether you're into fashion, whether you're a model, whether you sell hair, whether you're into comedy or a musician or a poet or whatever it is you have to do. Go ahead and do it. If I was in school with the knowledge I have now and the experience, I would have been going for all the entertainment cliques and events that they had. I probably would have joined SOD with Amaka, even though I can't dance to save my life. I would have enjoyed, I deprived myself of those experiences because of fear, which I found out that the things you're scared of or that you think you're scared of, they don't even exist. Some of my classmates that I was afraid, or let me not say I'm afraid, I was shy or ashamed that they would find out that this is what I'm doing, that they might be disappointed in me. It was those very same classmates who were the first in queue to encourage me that, see what these guys did. During Nigeria's Got Talent, my classmates were at the forefront, carrying it on my head, sharing videos that, man, Barry does this. This guy is my classmate, this guy is a doctor, this guy is that. So I guess that part of the connections thing plays its role, because those who are around you, who can know your value and appreciate you and can push you forward. So that's that.
Wow. Thank you so very much, guys. Thank you, Barius. Thank you, Dele, for another wonderful, wonderful session. I mean, it's been really nice having you guys here today. Just to...
May I say something?
Oh, Bariu, I did fail.
No. We finished from, let me look at my phone very clearly. We finished from university 17 years ago, Abi.
Yes,
Let me
sir.
remove my glasses. Dr. Okunola, you have a suspiciously black beard. It's just black. You don't gray eyes. Nature doesn't affect you.
you know, see and where, see,
I
it did
don't
there,
see
great
gray.
day.
Just got out. You just got out.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, guys. So we've got an email account that I've been posting on there for everyone to, at least you can email into that account if you want to be linked into anybody in this class or anybody in this group. And like Dele said, sometimes we might not even be the connection you need. We might know who will be able to supply that information or whatever it is you need. You've got resources now at your disposal, guys, all over the world. Ask your questions. We'll link you up directly with people. And believe me, there are many good plans afoot right now that we can't even disclose just yet for you guys that we're making on a personal level, not just to the college. This is directly to the students. Within the next couple of weeks, we'll be sending out more information at these meetings about what the specific plans are, including direct attachments to specific hospitals around the world. But things like that are still in the planning stage at the moment. So please get back in touch with us. You can go to YouTube. We've got a YouTube page at OAU Med Talks. We've got a Twitter account, Instagram account, and we've got a Facebook page where we publicize these particular meetings. And once you key into that, please subscribe to the YouTube page. We're trying to get it even bigger so we can start to expand the reach of these meetings. So here's to say thank you to everyone who's joined us today. Thank you to the speakers. Thank you for making out the time. We know time is quite expensive for all of us. The hope is that you'll be with us in 2 weeks' time when we have another person talking to us, this time about juggling things and juggling life. The email address someone's asking is oaumed05@gmail.com, which should be quite easy for anyone to remember. I've just put it back in the chat box. Thank you so much for joining us and have a brilliant week.
Thanks, guys. It was an honor to be
You guys
here.
can stay around for
Thank
the
you.
usual post-meeting banter afterwards.